Good morning. It's another Saturday. How are you doing? You're welcome to Connect and Reflect, where we give you and we share relatable topics of interest to you. How are we doing? How is the week going with us? So, any party, or most of us are in the party already. Those people in Nigeria should be, planning to attend. Should be rounding up a party now. This is 4 p.m. So you should be rounding up a party now. Start going home so you can watch, Connect and Reflect. So, a gentle reminder. So we'll be moving this program to TikTok by the beginning of next year. So by January, we'll be live on TikTok, not on Facebook. So if you are one of our followers, you can follow us on TikTok, search Connect and Reflect, and you will join us on our conversation. So this week, the topic brought to us for connection is, what exactly does this pastor mean when he said that he has stopped, employing or hiring female secretary since he started working late at night? Does this mean that he's trying to flee from temptation? Do you think that is wisdom in that aspect, or is just discriminating against women in the workplace? So you're open to share your thoughts or your view on this broadcast, on this topic. Pastor Adeboye says that he has stopped employing female secretaries since he started working late at night. Is employing the female secretary the problem here, or there's more unsaid words? Does that mean that female secretaries are what they are not? You get what I mean? Does that mean that women in the workplace generally will be discriminated against? Does this mean that men cannot control themselves? Does this mean that women are the architect of most men's problem? Sexual problem, I mean. Does that mean that men cannot control themselves and they blame it on the women? Because if you hire a secretary today and you mistakenly have sexual relationship with them, how many will you have to go around with? So does this mean that in large companies too, large managers, large administrative officers should not have female secretary? Is this what you're telling us? Or men lack self-control? Or women cannot be professional in the workplace? Or men cannot be professional in the workspace? Hey, join us for this conversation. It's going to be a very interesting one. When our other co-hosts join us in this conversation, this is crazy. It is crazy. What exactly did Pastor Adeboye mean by saying that he stopped having female secretary? A female secretary becomes something else. Secretaries are professional. People go to school to study secretarial studies. So it's a professional office and mostly dominated by women. Though it's what everybody can do. But women, this job opportunity helps women to balance work-life balance, because they can take care of their home and still be working. So we have people in the permanent secretaries. We have women who are executive secretaries. You know what I mean? So why will you say that you stop hiring female secretaries? That means you are subtly discriminating against women. So that means women cannot work with you. And if everybody is like that, does that mean that women will be out of job as a secretary? Would that tell us that if I have a younger one who wants to study secretarial studies, I should tell them no? People think you're going to sleep with your bosses. So, what are we feeling on this said topic? 1 minute, please. women, oh, they've said we are Olosho at work. That's what I mean. But that's subtle discrimination. Why we be discriminating against offices, saying that you stopped hiring female? Why about the gender? What is the issue with the gender? Are they not good at what they do? Are they not good at their job? Are they not professional? So people saying they cannot hire opposite sex as their secretary or permanent PA, that's personal assistant. Does that say more than what we know? If you were in his shoe, will you allow your husband have a female secretary? Or will you allow your wife have a male secretary? What is this all about? I thought we are all professional. So if this narrative continues like this, very soon women will stop working, because at every work office we get to see our opposite gender. So does that mean that we cannot keep professionalism? We cannot set boundaries at work? Pastor Adeboye can set, Pastor Adeboye can set boundaries in his workplace. The secretary can set work boundaries in the workplace. If you feel that you're vulnerable with a female secretary, then you are vulnerable with any other female person. So, I don't know, understand this topic. Maybe if I get people to help me, maybe it will be better. What has been a woman have to do with this position? Should this statement be understood as personal conviction? Is this personal conviction? Maybe he just decided in his heart that I'm not going to have a female secretary. Or do you think it's a workplace principle? Or it's just a spiritual discipline? Papa just wants to be disciplined. So I'm open to this conversation because I feel like this is a subtle jab to women. And we can be professional. That is the point. We can be professional. Women are not going to lose their job or have job security issue because somebody do not believe in the gender, or somebody cannot be professional, or somebody cannot have self-discipline or self-control over this topic. So this topic today, we die here. A lot of people are saying Papa is trying to flee from all appearances of evil, because the Bible says we should flee from all appearances of evil. Is walking in the same space with a woman be appearances of evil? You will explain that your way. You never felt different, Baba. So you shouldn't turn women to be the carrier of the evil. What happened to men? Some people, if you like, pick your pen 10,000, 10 million times. If they want to be disciplined, they will be disciplined. You can see your secretary as a family member, whereas there's no way you will be vulnerable with your family member. If you can maintain discipline with a family member, why not maintain discipline with a secretary? No matter how close you are with a family member, if you can maintain discipline there, you should be able to maintain discipline at work too. Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are we doing today? How is the place?
Any?
How's the weather?
Weather is good. Weather is good.
You still have sun, right?
You
still have sun. The lot of one saying everywhere is white though.
No, it's no long. I actually need sun be. Because in country to Exactly.
Bó ṣe kó bọ̀ àwa ti bí àti Canada kankan náà ni wá when it comes to snow.
Yeah. We don't have
So,
we don't have that experience. Yeah. All, like once in a while, maybe in like 4 years, Lamari got to Jomobe.
oh God, oh God. Anyways, you're welcome. Who are the others?
Thank you.
So, Baba Adeboye is discriminating against women.
Shush, 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 shush. What the
And
place?
that, and he call us appearances of evil. We look like appearances of evil to him. So,
Èmi ò mọ ibi tẹ́ ẹ ti èmi ò mọ ibi tẹ́ ẹ ti ráì dí àyẹn o.
so Baba said that he stopped hiring female secretaries, or he stopped working with female secretary ever since he started working late at night.
Mhm.
Do you think that that is wisdom, or what do you think he meant by that?
I mean, that is absolute wisdom. There's no other thing about it. It is absolute wisdom. Funny thing is, this is not the first time Baba will be saying things like this. He said it a few years ago, and of course there was social media outrage about it, um, and now he's saying it again. Uh, but the thing is, it's the truth. I mean, let me just answer your question straightforward. It's the absolute wisdom, because the alternative is is worse, irrespective of how people want to take it, how feminists like you want to take it. But to me, it is the. I mean, that's the best decision you would have taken for himself, for the lady. Because it's not just about him alone; it's also for the lady. Let's think about it. The way, and I don't make the rules. Of course, it's always been a case of who rules the world, men, women. Let me give you an example, which may not be a direct, like apple to apple example.
Mm-hmm.
The former president of the United States and Monica Lewinsky,
Mm-hmm.
when that thing happened, who do you think bear the brunt of the issue? It's obviously not Clinton. Clinton got reelected, but Monica had to go through public, let me quote and unquote, public shame and all of that. She had to retire to, like, off the public eye and all of that. Of course, I think she's doing fine now. But the point that I'm making is the decision is, of course, for the man that took the decision, but not only the man. It is also for the woman as well. Because if things were to break out, we won't be talking about what was the word that you used earlier when you asked the question. We won't
Wisdom.
be,
Is it
we,
wisdom or discrimination?
we won't be talking about discrimination at that time. So yeah, it makes more sense to take that decision. I'll take such decision as well.
Ah, my bamibe. Anyways, you're welcome, Adeshegun.
Yeah,
Adeshegun,
good morning, good afternoon. Thank you.
good morning. This one I like this your heart, although I cannot see you like this, but I'm seeing you like this.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
You can't see me, but you can see my heart.
No, what I mean is I have something here to monitor.
Oh, okay, okay, I get you. I get you now.
So what exactly did Pastor Adeboye mean by saying that he doesn't work with he stopped having female secretary?
Yeah, I think it's just the bearer of bad news. It's just saying what plenty people, are afraid to come out and say, that having a female worker that close could be could be a risky thing. Yeah, I think that's all it's just trying to say, that having a female worker that close to you, who knows your schedule in out, who knows, everything about you in and out, knows your meal patterns, knows when you go to the restroom, knows when your wife is calling you, knows when your kids' birthdays and all. It's a risky thing. Yeah, that's the truth. There's a lot of risk attached to it. And the man has even said before that there was a time when he went for a program, in diaspora, and he was so grateful to God that he took his wife along, and that a woman had already planned and come in with reporters, and came to knock his hotel door, found his hotel room. The woman came and knocked, and she brought cameramen and all that. And thankfully, it was his wife that opened up. When his wife opened up, the woman just quickly rushed to, I think, either hug or try to kiss her, sort of. So these are some of the challenges that people like that tend to face, you understand, on the job. And I think the other thing that he was trying to highlight, but in a very passive manner, is that um, it is very risky to have a woman working with you that close. The other thing that he did not say, that I've always said, is that women have an advantage over men. Even though women would say that we shouldn't um, we shouldn't sexualize them, and that
Yeah.
everything about them is not sexuality, we
Hmm.
all would
Thank you.
agree. Okay, maybe we all not will agree, but the truth is that sexuality has become a tool for women to be able to use to progress their course. Yes, unfortunately, they will not tell you that sexuality is a tool. They will just tell you that it's called woman power. But that thing they call woman power is just sexuality at work. And that's the reason why men tend to have a general consensus that women find it easier to climb up the corporate ladder than men. And why
So
is
we
this
slept
so?
around. Cuckoo said it in clear words that we are sleeping around.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that women can use the tool of sexuality to climb the
Mm,
ladder faster in the corporate world. And that's the
mm,
truth. It is
Right.
it is an uncomfortable truth, but it's the truth. Yeah.
Ah, Ajashegun. So you will say it, oh, I know my women are coming for you. That so we sleep around. That's why anytime women obtain a higher position in office anywhere, you believe that it was a
That's not
sexuality
what
that
I
you
said.
used.
That's not what I said. There are women who I know that have worked out their asses off. I love them. I want to even be like them. There are Okonjo Iwealas of this world who are.
I know, but she slept now. She
Yeah,
slept around.
of course she did not. But there are also women who are they, in fact, for every one Okonjo Iweala that you find, there is 100 women who have used sexuality to climb up the ladder. And it is evident in everything that you see today. In even they don't hide it. It's no longer a hidden secret in the industry or even in the world anymore. Women put it out there. They are available for the highest bidder, even for marriage.
Ah,
Even some of the most celebrated marriages that we have on social media is married to the highest bidder. That's the
okay. Can
truth.
we move? Can we move on to the topic, Mr. Ajashegu?
Yes, please.
So, right today, do you think that this conversation, like I stop working with female, do you think it's personal conviction for Baba Adeboye? Do you think it's still spiritual discipline or it's a general workplace ethics, like setting boundaries?
Is it for me?
Yes, sir.
So the question is it a personal thing for Baba? Is it a
Is it
spiritual thing?
spiritual? Is it a personal conviction, spiritual discipline, or workplace principle?
So it's so okay. I love that question, and I think it's a landmine that I'm grateful to God that I picked earlier, so I don't run into it. The question about whether it's a personal decision, yes, that's of course it's personal to Baba. Is it a spiritual discipline? Yes, it's a spiritual discipline because um, the Bible says flee.
Our
All right.
apprentices of evil now.
Hold on. Don't. And again, that was why I said it's a landmine that I'm very smart to pick. See, when the Bible says flee all appearances of evil, the evil in this point is not the other person. I repeat, the evil is not the other person. The evil is the environment that gives rise to a bad outcome. Let me give an example. If you are if you're going through something and then you're
Mhm.
getting a nudge that this will not end well, right? and you're still walking into it, right? You see it as an appearance of evil, right? But that was in the case of Baba and them, the female secretary that he's talking about. It doesn't mean that the lady is coming with a mindset of anything. It doesn't mean that Baba also is going with a mindset of doing anything. But it's something that breeds negativity, which is the cloak of darkness. What do I mean by darkness? I'm not saying darkness I mean in the night, right? It's about secrecy. When you have something that you're doing, the Bible says, open, is it Bible that says it? Before I will say something else. Open rebuke is better than secret love, right? Yeah. It also goes about exposing things that are in the dark. You see, when you expose things, you're already over such issue. There's a pastor of mine that said something years ago that I resonate with, right? That you as a brother and you go to visit a sister at home, right? And you go to visit a sister at home and then you are closing the door. Whoever told you that your manhood will not rise is lying to you. You see, the problem is not the woman. The problem does not have to be the man as well. But there is an attraction that comes with when you're doing something and you see that, oh, it's just the two of us, right? And you're not setting boundaries. That is where the problem comes. And remember, what Baba said was he stopped having secretary when he sees that he's going to be working late into the night. It doesn't say that he's against secretaries. That's not what Baba said. He said when he sees that he's working late in the night. Now, it doesn't say that Baba is saying that the women will seduce him. No, I don't. That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't say that Baba is going with the mind of wanting to have anything with the women as well. But there are some things that happen when you are doing something that you know that, oh, there's the, I don't want to say freedom, right? But it's just the two of you, right? And I love what Auntie Ronke is posting, and I love that. It's what I would actually say, that let's not make things like this about everything against women. No, it doesn't have to be a misogynistic or something that has to do with misandry, right? It's good. It goes both ways. It's
But
just that
hold on.
it is
But you know that
prevalent.
this position, this job is mostly dominated by women. That's the point. That's why it's a conversation now.
But there is what I'm saying. There are jobs that are dominated by men that women need as well. It is any woman is at liberty of saying, I don't want to have a male driver because of when it drives me outside town. I don't want to be in a position. You understand what I'm saying? Because driving is try harder. You can do it. I believe you. Just put your hand there and draw it down. Sorry. You
That's okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Have over there.
Driving is a male-dominated occupation, right? And of course, there are females that have male drivers. If any of them come out tomorrow and say, you know what, immediately I see that my driver will be taking me out of state for business that is longer and we're going to be staying over and my husband is not going to be there, that is when I stop having male drivers. Nobody's going to question that woman. That's what I'm saying. Let's not make it about secretary, which is female dominated job. Let's make it about a man that understands that being with an opposite gender at an unholy hour would affect his ministry. Same way, a woman that sees being with the opposite gender in a dangerous situation would affect his life and marriage and conviction and ministry, and he's taking a decision on that. By all means, do that. See, the point that I'm making is nothing we see is one-sided. Nothing should be taken as one-sided. It's both ways. We are created in pairs. Whatever affects the man against the woman, affect the woman against the man. And so it may not be the same case, just as the case of secretaries that you pointed out. It may be another occupation, just as the case of drivers that I pointed out. That's the point that I'm making.
Okay, thank you. I don't know what's happening. Network. I'm trying to bring Ronke up, and it's taking forever. Ronke really have. I know she will be by my side. This one that all of you are okay, hanging against women. Go past you. So Adeshegun, you're welcome back again. So do you
Yeah.
think that avoiding female secretaries, because Baba is trying to run away from female secretaries, do you think that avoiding female secretaries unintentionally affects or punish women as the fear of temptation? So do we unintentionally punish the women as the evil here? Because free from all appearances of evil. Now you're making women the secretary, don't let me say women. The secretary, whether male or the opposite sex, as we've been talking about it, like if it was a woman who wants a male secretary. Are we now saying that women and men cannot be in a safe space? One. Number two, are we saying that we are punishing women or men as their fear of temptation instead of holding yourself accountable?
Okay, so I think Bertunde has actually um, highlighted the most important point for me there. And I think the part of discipline is important to note that the reason why, Pastor Deboye may have, made that decision is because he chooses to, throw the part of discipline. He sees the possibility of the danger that can occur with it. Obviously, from different sources, from different experience, you would have heard it, and he decides, okay, it's better to play safe. You understand? It's better to play safe than to be sorry. You understand? That's one. Then the other thing is the evidence out there does support that the evidence there, if you check it, check most of the even real life movies, check most of the real life stories, the evidence does support that men who have female secretaries tend to be able to find solace in their female secretaries when things are not really good at home. And that's the truth. They tend to be able to find solace in them when things, because that's the secretary's job. You understand? The secretary's job is to make the life of the boss easier. You understand? So eventually, over time, they are able to find solace in them. So I think what he has done is throwing a part of wisdom. Seeing a possible thing that can become a problem, or become problematic, and he decides to employ a physical solution to avoid story that touches. And I like that. You understand? But on the larger picture, where you're talking about whether we're trying to marginalize women in terms of career and all that. Look, I don't see it as marginalizing. There are fantastic people who have been able to become, substantial, become substantial role models in the society. Okonjo Iweala is one of them. I don't remember the name of the former NAFDAC boss who we've never still forgotten till now.
Akonyuli.
Ah, thank you, Dora Akuyili. These are fantastic people who you will know that they were able to climb up the corporate ladder without having. They are smart. They know it.
Don't they have
This,
do they have male secretary? Don't they have male secretary if
they
there's
could
one?
have female. They could have female secretaries too. They could have female secretaries. So, and go and check their marriage. They had good marriages that still, was able to stand the test of time. And these are the kind of people that we want to, we want our daughters, our sisters to be like. Not the current, in fact, it is even riskier now to employ any Gen Z as a secretary that is a woman. It is
Ah,
riskier because they put it out there all the time. I was in an argument with a lady this morning on my WhatsApp, and the reason why I got into an argument was because she put it out there that why should a woman be in a relationship with a man who cannot, her words were, who cannot spend on her. So I had to ask that, is she sick? Is the person that needs to be spent on, is the person sick? Or is the person um not fully able to walk, or if that person must have a deformity? For me, she said no. And I said, look, how do you teach your daughters? They go to school, university for 4 years, they come out, and then instead of encouraging them to become people of value in the society, you start encouraging them to now become a second fiddle to somebody just because the person can spend money. You understand? So, like it or not, these are most of the examples. We've talked about it here, that these are most of the examples that we currently have in the society. Women who settle for the barest minimum as long as money is involved. Imagine you now employing such a woman as your secretary innocently, and you're a pastor, a woman who she's going to do anything for money, and you are a pastor, you employ that person as a secretary. You have put yourself at risk, because she's going to study and know when to strike, when to, maybe no, not when to strike, when to snatch. You understand? And many men have fallen into this particular trap. Many secretaries have gotten pregnant for their boss secretly. Yes, some men are secretly having, they have another second family somewhere, because they fell into that trap or that temptation of the quality time they get to enjoy with it. Like it or not, every boss spends more time with their secretary than their wives. That's the truth.
No, it is every gender spend most time at work with possibly opposite sex. So when I go to work now, there are a lot of boys, men in my workplace that I will meet, and I spend 8 hours with them every day.
Yeah,
And
I
possibly,
agree.
and same thing with my husband. He goes to work and he meets a lot of beautiful women at work, and they're doing well. So
Except
should I
you
now,
want to,
because he has,
you're trying to equate the relationship that every other worker has in the office with the relationship that the boss and the secretary has. No, you can't equate it. She's in charge of his schedule. She knows when he's going to go out. She knows when he's going to talk to who. She even knows when he's supposed to have coffee. She knows when. She even sits very close to his office. She sits very close to his
anyway.
office. She knows his diet. She knows the diet that will purge him. She knows everything. You cannot equate that with every other relationship in the office. There's one that, and look, like it or not, when people even tend, they are not even in confined spaces. When people tend to, talk to each other for a long time and become, um, they know each other very well. Emotions and affections begins to set in. You like it or not, these things happen. Emotion, especially when the girl has very, very, cogent intentions, emotions would set in, like it or not.
Okay, okay, okay. Ah, I wish Roka was there. Oh my goodness. Roka is struggling to be. Anyways, she's typing too. But today, in a society where we struggle for, you know, gender equality, job opportunity, same platform, will this reinforce workplace discrimination?
Mm. So let me respond in two ways. There's a part of it that I want to agree that maybe it enforces workplace discrimination, because you mentioned earlier that secretaries are female dominated occupation. Of course, I cited another occupation that is male dominated that interacts with women. So if you are not saying that that encourages discrimination against male drivers, well, we can't say not wanting to have a secretary pass a certain hour discriminate.
Before you
Oh, hold
continue,
on.
I do not have a problem with you having a male driver. For a female to have a male driver, I do not have a problem with it. It's strictly work, and I've
Hold on.
not said
Hold on. Hold on.
nobody should hire.
Ulotu.
But you are saying
Ulotu.
nobody should hire secretary. That's why it's a problem now.
Ulotu. You're not you're hearing me but not listening to me.
Okay.
There is a part of you and me.
Mm-hmm.
But what you believe, of course, you cited the case of you interacting with people at work. You cited the case of your husband interacting with people at work. But your case does not represent the full statistics of people. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Now, so what I'm saying is, as much as we can say that, oh yeah, a lot of people can say that, oh, we don't want female secretaries or we don't want male drivers. Of course, it has happened in the household where the husband will say that, oh, let's get a female um, what is it,
Made.
house mate, yeah, and the woman will say no. You see, that is the opposite. Now it is the man that is saying let's get a female maid, and the woman is saying no, let's get the maid. Why? Because the man knows that if I get a female maid, my wife is secured. But the woman knows that a female maid and my husband, voila, actually. Why are we now? You see how the opposite of secretary and maid coming now. So that destroys the argument of discrimination, because maids are female dominated workplace, right? But it is the female that is kicking against having a female maid now. You see the logic of what I'm saying. Now, the second side of things is there is a social expectation, there is a personal expectation. As much as I can be cancelled, I am not going to be apologetic for for the decision that I'm taking that benefits my life. You understand what I'm saying?
But you are
Because
indirectly exposing your weakness.
you see, you see, we can talk about weakness later, but let's not digress now. You understand what I'm saying? The point that I'm making is this: I am not the savior or the hero of the society. Baba Adeboye does not answer to anybody for the decision that he takes, that believes that if I don't take this decision, there is a possibility that my ministry will be ruined. You will need to be, the first person you need to be loyal to is you first, not the female secretaries, not the male drivers, not the female maids, not the male mates. The husband that makes the decision that we need a female maid in the house is taking decision that benefits his life, because he knows that if anything should happen, Akpan is sleeping with his wife. People will first of all say that, you will know, why are you leaving your wife with Akpan? The woman that is taking the decision saying that no, we don't want a female maid, we want a male assistant at home, is taking decision that benefits her life, because she knows that if anything happens and Sandra get belle for husband, people will say that you too, omoto fine by, is cooking for you. So that's the point that I want us to make, that I want us to get an understanding on. The first thing is talking about how it discriminates. It's not really, what is the word that I'm looking for? Absolute. Because we can think of other areas of workplace where it is actually the woman that is discriminating against the woman. Example of what I'm giving now is the maid, house help and all of that. The second thing is, if I make a decision, you can cancel me, but me, I know that I'm looking for that word in Yoruba, that ìyẹn
Tí ti bá
kékeré
bàjẹ́ tó dídì ló ń dà.
ìyẹn tún bẹ́tà ju nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ lọ. Tí ìbá bàjẹ́ tán tó nídìí ni ó máa dà. Everybody that is accusing Baba of discrimination against the secretary now, they will be the first to say, we said it. We said it. Baba ti meru left from secretary by himself. At the end of the day, Baba will be the one facing the truth, not the society, not Sister Aderonke that is saying that we are setting the female back 200 years. So that is the point. 2 points that I'm making. Number one, that argument is not solid of discrimination. Number two, even though the argument is solid, I am still the only one responsible for my life and the decision that I take, whether the society likes it or not, whether it sets the society back 200 million years or not. I still answer to myself, and I'm responsible for the decision that I take and the consequences of the decision that I take.
Thank you. So now, Brotunde, Ajashego rather. Let me ask this. If you have a sister who says, Aunt, Uncle, Or, my brother, I want to study secretarial study. What would be advised with this narrative Baba is painting for female secretary? Is this message not sent, what message will send to young ones, okay? Aspiring to be administrative worker or study secretarial studies in school. Looking at this narrative, oh, they wish I'm gonna discriminate against you because there's nobody that studied driver in school. Oh, transportation was sorry. But anyways, you know what I mean? This is a professional job. It is not unskilled worker. This is professional. People went to school to study it, typewriting, blah, 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 taking minutes from conversations, because it's not just to serve or get tea, it's their job. If you want to set boundaries, you might say, okay, don't serve me tea. Don't listen to whatever things I want to say that is non-work related, that is not business related, I don't want to hear. Your husband beats you, don't tell me. If my wife will offend me, I will not tell you. I just want to hear only work related, setting such boundaries in a professional setting, in a workplace setting. Wouldn't that help the job rather than, and don't forget that this job is no contact related job. It's not like we are touching, the job does not require me touching you, you are not touching me. It's no contact. So can't we be professional at the same workspace so that when our female come back from school, when they have studied that course, they won't be jobless. So, and now back to the question, Adeshegun. What advice will you give young female girl or young female person who wants to study administrative studies or secretarial studies?
Well, I would say there are better courses out there that she can go for. That's number one. Like we said, when we talked about people who studied courses
I know
that
you will be there.
they do not use eventually.
Not like a secretariat. Hold on, I'm just
Secretary,
going to cut you here because every company needs a secretary. Every company needs a
exactly.
manager. So that when there's a manager, there's a secretary who will take the minutes of the conversation, who will be your like a manager that manages your meetings, that manages your workspace, that tells you what to do. This is what we have next. Now this person's called and they said this. Their job is more than serving tea.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, these are jobs that anybody can do. These are jobs that
Hmm.
when you even go to most
You can
corporate
type
organizations.
20 minutes per hour. You are be balanced at 20 words per minute. Can you type it?
As long as you are not working in a business center where they type from money, people bring all their documents to type. You won't have to type 20 minutes. It'll be 20 words per seconds. But the point is that go check out most people who have done those jobs. In fact, there's hardly there are hardly people that are young ladies who, when you ask them that what job can they do when they are still in school or before they get into school, they will tell you they can work as clerk, they can work as secretary. These are the jobs that people tell you that that's to tell you that it does not require too much skill set for you to be able to do it. Yes, there are advanced roles that Mr. Tunde talked about. You understand, where for multinationals, the role becomes a little bit advanced, documentation becomes a little bit excessive. You understand? So in that case, you need somebody very smart and intelligent to be able to do the job. But these are very rare cases. Only very how many multinationals, for every multinational, how many secretaries do they want to recruit? So
But they started from somewhere. They started from
now
somewhere.
that's where I'm going to, that the opportunity that is out there on the course as a career for you to be able to grow, and become maybe a stakeholder, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that career is not really there. As much as people think that I'm just saying this to chase clouds. There are courses like that when it's just like the challenge that most people who studied agriculture, like myself, that they also um, face. What is the biggest pinnacle that you can achieve in that course? What's the highest or tallest pinnacle that you can achieve in that
Mm-hmm.
course? And now focus it on sectorial studies. What's the highest pinnacle that you can achieve? You work in a multinational. And most people that study sectoral studies do not eventually work in a multinational. And even it is a course that, as much as you want to say that men study it, women study it, people tend to love to recruit women more on the job. Why? You don't want me to talk about sexuality, but sexuality is the main goal why people tend to recruit women more. Go and check all those skits when even two women come for the job as a secretary, they tend to recruit the one that is more sexually appealing. Yes, go check it out. It looks as if those guys are making jokes and they are trying to taint the woman reputation, but they are speaking the truth. Or a man comes to look for a job and he finds a woman looking for the same job, the woman will get recruited. It's okay. The ones that get endowed. Tell me it's not Mr. Tony. Okay, it's Mr. Tony that has the guts to write such. Okay, now imagine a man coming to look for a job with with a woman. You will not get the job. That's the truth. And this thing has been happening since. So as much as we want to say that sexuality should not be put out there, sexuality exists in the marketing world. Why do you think in the banks? Why do you think that women are usually the ones that goes to look for accounts? Is it not the same school that they went to? Women are the ones that go and look for accounts and they will give them ridiculous targets, and these women will go and try to get it. Bring account that has it. Why are men not taxed with that effort? Because sexuality is used to advance that course, that career. That's the truth. So now having this information at hand, any man who has a happy home, right? And who intends to keep a happy home should know that there's a risk in you employing a woman. There's a risk as a secretary, as somebody who works in that very, very vital role. It's a risk. And that's what the pastor has done to be able to at least limit or eliminate any risks that could come to him. And he decides to employ a man, Chikena. He solves the problem.
All of you will feed us at the end of the day. By the time we come back from school after studying, we drop our paper. There's no job because once pastor has set the boundaries, because people will take it out of context. Because pastor has said it, every brother in that work, that's a man that is a manager in secular jobs, will start saying, our pastor said we should not have female secretary. We'll fire all the female secretary. And you know them are father, but don't worry. So, Brother, do you agree that anybody that studies secretarial studies should go and sit down, should start roasting corn?
So I will give a slightly different response to what Brother Jashegun said. I mean, I won't discourage anybody from doing secretarial studies, although I will say it under my breath. Everything that there's no lies in what Brother Jashegun said, except of course we want to shy away from the truth. However, there are still professional secretaries out there.
Thank you.
There are professional people that are secretaries that they are doing their work in a professional way, right? And I'm going back to the key word of what Baba Adeboye said, because we seem to be lost in
Because they put night, Abby.
outreach. Exactly. The reason why Baba said night is Baba's job does not have a closing time as a pastor. And why that may be an issue is, think about it, a pastor that is going to work in the morning and is coming back in the night is already spending more time with the secretary than his wife. That is a red flag. That is a problem. So back to what I
Can he
said.
now close? This is his job that I can do at any time. He can do the same job he wants to do at office in his home. He can
As
do
a
the same
pastor,
thing.
as a pastor.
Now,
Uh
ṣebí
uh
kó ka Bíbélì ni, ṣebí kó
uh
gbàdúrà ni.
and that's the thing. A pastor is a lot more than Badura.
But anyways, because it is more like self-employed, he can determine his closing time by himself. Why must he work late night too? And if he has to work late night, secretary go home and he can be there by himself.
We all know why they are working late in the night. We all know why they need secretaries to do this work, because most of these things that they are doing late in the night is scheduled by the secretary. So we cannot, because of that, now say, oh, why can't he go home and do it? No, that is out of the question. The question is it every job that requires secretary to stay with the boss till the night? No.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you are a secretary, what are you doing past going to past 5 p.m.? So, if you're going to be professional with your job, and then you get a man that is professional as well, by all means, do your secretary job. There's no problem with that. The problem starts. The problem starts when both of you, or one of you, or no, it has to be both of you, anyways, decided to do extracurricular activity, which is what we are seeing now, and that's where the problem starts. If you, as a secretary, know that you have a principle, a standard that does not allow extracurricular income, that does not allow saying, "Oga, have you eaten?" Because that's how it starts. You know, women are caring, and sometimes maybe the man comes to the office and is hungry, and you, of course, as a mother, the first thing you want to do is to jump in and provide that. But you need to know that that is not your job. If you are, you're not his mother, you're not his wife. It's not your job to see to his well-being, because that's not part of your job description. If you can do that, by all means, do your secretarial job. And if you know that, oh, there are some vultures in the corporate world that may want to be you know that at that point you need to flee all appearance of evil. So again, if a secretary comes tomorrow and say that immediately my oga starts suggesting that I stay longer than the work that is scheduled for me, I resign. Nobody will fight you for resigning.
Exactly.
You see the point now? You see how it exonerates Baba Adeboye for saying what he said now? So that's the point that I'm missing. It is not discriminatory, because actually, this is actually progress. Going up, we don't have much secretary then. We had clerical officers, which are mostly male. Yes, in those ministries and all of that, when you hear clerk, even when you're watching movie, when you hear clerk, do you think woman? No, it's male. So that is even improvement. Now that we don't even hear clerks anymore. Now we hear secretaries. So let's give it up for the corporate world for moving towards employing female. So let's not change the narrative that someone is discriminating against female.
Thank you. Tell Baba Adeboye that there are some words I said, because a lot of people
that's
take
not
it
what
as a blanket statement.
don't. You are a journalist. Don't change my word. That's not what I said. What I said
Baba
is,
Adeboye will take it as blanket statement. Now, like other will take it like Baba said we should not. Since Baba cannot hire females, Baba that is even a man of God, they cannot handle women. How much more me? Then let me fire my secretary. Then women will be without job.
that is not happening. That's not how I see it.
So, anyways, let's move on. How do we balance what's called morality at work and also fairness? Bertone, let me start with you.
Can you
How do we
repeat?
protect morality at work? Like, you want to be moral, you set boundaries. This and this, just stay professional. And these
That's
things
it.
we don't have problem with it in our place of work here. People don't pass their boundary. You know that you pass boundary, they go and report you for assault. If you are too caring, they will report you for assault. So without sacrificing fairness and inclusion.
So that you said the key word in your question. Actually, let's be professional. That's the key. Let us be professional. If everybody is professional, they are doing the only job that they are asked to do, and not extra, not adding extracurricular. None of this would be nothing would be a problem, right? By being professional, what I mean is, you as a boss, you are, when you are employing, you're not employing because someone is endowed. That's where the problem starts. Because if you're following merit, of course, I'm not saying the person that is endowed does not have merit.
Yeah.
But if the sole reason why you employ someone is because of their backside, then there's already a problem. And you that they employ, you see that you got in by your backside. You're calling it grace.
Is it not Grace?
Ah, you see, everybody that got employed by their endowments, they know it's not you that got it. And it is that that leads to, okay, I don't deserve this, but I use what I have to get what I want. So definitely
Mm,
you have to sustain it. That's how it starts. You understand what I'm saying? That's on one side. The other side is what I said earlier. Your orgas well-being is not your
no.
problem as a secretary. You don't jump in to provide succor to your organ. You don't jump in to provide the shoulder for your organ
Mm.
to cry on. The wife at home may be slapping him. It's not your
It's none
problem.
of your business.
Do your job. And you as the organ that is
Don't
employing a female secretary,
don't go and tell you how your problem.
hey, that's not when you now start. Can you imagine? Mommy Junior just left Junior. I'm the one that took Junior to school. Then you are now telling him, can you help me pick Junior up from school? It's a problem.
Mm.
Honey,
Doesn't burn.
and that's the proximity that we're talking about,
Or the
right?
secretary come back here. I'll come you for one jelly. Kilo konga.
Mm-hmm. And it's not even about secretary and no guy alone. Co-workers,
Yes,
all
that's
the
what I'm
you
saying.
have bestie at work. If it was in bed, who are you to be having bestie at work? Your work, go home. When you see yourself at so that it won't be a case of the weekend is too long. So that's the point I'm making. I mean, if everybody decides to be professional, um, it doesn't have to be secretary alone. In any work that they do, be professional and demand that professional input from the person that you're working with. If you sometimes you have to stand your ground, you have to maintain your standard. I mean, again, it doesn't sometimes being um having standard may not feel good sometimes because sometimes you do that and then they sack you from work, but it's okay. um as long as you don't compromise your standard. Again, be professional. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, Jared. Now we are blessed, like we are coming to the same time. Like, can we all be professional and not discriminate against women or any gender? And now, but today, do you think that what Baba is saying is talking about his own or generally men's weakness around women? Is it that they cannot
Is that
maintain
the question for me?
self-discipline? Bro, Ajasegun,
Okay.
is it that they cannot maintain professionalism around women, or they cannot maintain self-control or discipline around women? That's why you have to fire or you have to be restrict who you work with.
Okay. Before I answer that, I want to quickly say something to what Sunday said about everybody should
Mm.
just be professional. You see, everybody should just be professional is what some people have done that has made them very poor, poorer than a church rat. You understand? Because as much as you want to be professional, there are those out there who are leagues ahead of you, who are miles ahead of you. They are going to play dirty. They are going to play as dirty as possible. So, as much as I agree with everybody being professional, right? It's also important to also put it out there that the corporate world is not funny and
So
is
are you
not.
not telling us to do what we should leave our
I'm
values
not
because
saying
others
that.
are going crazy? We should go crazy with them.
I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to definitely pray to God for grace. I'm going to pray to God to help me if I'm pursuing a contract, but I will also try and see if I know one or two people in the place to see if I can speak to them so that somebody will not just use Yash to spoil work that I've been researching and doing for a long time. You understand? So it's the truth. You will be there working, putting in the work, thinking that, and then somebody will just go there. And this is something I've experienced plenty times. I'm a marketer by profession, right? It's something I've experienced plenty time in the marketing world. In fact, there are certain kinds of maybe jobs you're looking for, you're trying to get that once you meet some certain kind of women there, I don't, you know myself, I don't even struggle. I just pick my bag and go. This one is
Just
not a
people
matter of I just pick my bag and go. I've seen the script play plenty times. You understand? So I just go. That's the truth. Especially in the agri world, there are certain women there who are the ones that they are the powers that be. No, they are the ones that control the powers that be. You understand? So if I meet them in places like that, I just go. For it's not as if I don't have faith. I just, look for the next available job I want to, look for. Sorry, please remind me the main question you asked again.
So the main question is that now talking about restricting women or probably trying to discriminate. So do you guys are saying it's not discrimination, but trying to say you don't want to work with women? Does that send a general message to men that when they are around women, they don't have discipline, self-control, or they can't maintain stability?
You know that the thing is, we are talking about it as if it's usually the men that is the problem. How do you know a woman that wants to collect another man's husband? How do you know? Do they write it on
Are
the
you
face?
if they come say you cannot say no? Ẹnu you will last say no ni.
Well, saying no or not is not my point here now. We always think it's the man that is not disciplined enough that will now go and approach the lady and say, help me do this. What if it is the woman? What if it is the secretary now that has not been married for a while and is just thinking of how to collect that? There are women like that are out there to steal other people's to to steal other
But you
people's
can always
men.
push back. One party can always push back.
Why does it have to be the man? That you just said the man has to be disciplined? Now that the table has
Okay,
turned now,
everybody
you're
got to be
asking the man.
disciplined. Okay,
The
everybody,
man should be
So
everybody
the man should be the one.
Ajasegun, what
Yeah.
Olotu is saying is the man has to be disciplined, but she's forgetting the flip side that the women should not be devilish.
So
Perfect. That's a
everybody that is
perfect.
running, no,
That's a
we
perfect
are not running
description.
away from you.
Devilish.
Because
Devilish.
you're going to work every day. You're shaking bomb in front of your oga every day. How long will this man be disciplined for? And if this man
No, no,
sack
no,
you,
no. We are
you
not
will come.
complaining about you. You guys walk around us. We don't complain. We don't say, oh, you are too handsome for my face. We have that discipline. It is
because
you
we
that you always say we have reason to fall.
because
And you not blame it on us that
be,
because we
be,
shake bum because you are too
because
beautiful.
because our features that seduces is eating. You
Mhm.
see your own. It is in our faces. You cannot be in the office and be bending down to pick folder and checking what did you office in.
Good
How
question.
long will
Answer now,
this
Olotu.
how long will this man be disciplined for? And if this man sack this woman now, you will say the man
It's
is
gender discrimination, though.
Okay, now if all of you can be say be occurring, how crazy you think you guys can be with your sexualities when you see family members, when you see older women, you don't have it. But when you see female that is not your family member, so it has to do with your mind.
That's
If you
it's
know that
not
this
mind,
thing we
it's
are to
nature.
work,
That analysis is not even a function of the mind, it's nature.
it's the
When
mind.
you see your family member that is a lady, you get
late.
irritated by some thoughts. It's irritation. It is not discipline, it's irritation.
And because your mind is irritated, your mind is irritated.
I don't know if
Consider
it is a
family
function
member,
of the
ṣe fẹ́
mind.
bend it o.
Mhm.
Consider family member, ṣe fẹ́ bend it
And
o.
nature
Kó
will
mọ̀
attract you to
wọ̀túnwọ̀tún,
somebody
you
who
will
you are
take your
not
eyes off
related
it.
to. Yes, and nature itself will attract you to so once you start becoming unattracted to someone you are not related to. That's probably insanity. For me,
No,
that's
no, it
insanity.
is no, I do not agree.
Who
Say,
should a man be
if you can
attracted
close your
to?
eyes from family members, if you can close your eyes for older people that are not to older women, if you can no matter how sexy an older woman is, you always look away. But when it comes to a younger person, kò ní láti ṣe anything. Tójú ìmọ̀ àti ṣe bá lọ gym.
There's a perfect response to what you're saying, but because we're in the social media space, you will never hear me say it. Well, what I would say in place of that is just as Ajashegun said, nature. It goes with the thought of the taboo of
Mm-hmm.
what it is. It is a taboo. I can
Yes.
have this versus the hold on versus the possibility. I'm not saying I cannot have versus I can have. No, I'm saying I cannot have versus possibility. And that is the problem. I know that it is not possible, based on the taboo, to want to even further the thoughts of family and relatives. But with someone that is not family and relative, you removed that old. No holds back, just as the Igbo people will say. And that is what leads to that temptation. Does that make sense? That's
Makes
the
sense. I hear
that,
It
you.
does.
But I don't agree. You don't
It makes
agree.
perfect sense.
Because if you can say it's a taboo for family members, you can say a work member and say it's also a taboo because you're
but,
married.
but it's not.
Because it's my father or my mother that gave birth to her, or what?
But it's a taboo too because you are married.
Do I know her mother before, or do I know her father before?
It's not. No.
Oh, Jesus.
Taboo does
Because they
not.
are married, every other woman become a taboo.
No.
Should become a taboo. That's what you should say.
Become you. Every
No.
other woman
It
become a
doesn't.
taboo.
It doesn't become by default. It it's a different conversation entirely. It's a case of, okay, why is it that we do not sin against God? Right? It's not because of fear. That if you're not sinning against God because of the fear that you have for God, you would end up sinning. It is more about the love that you have for God, and you know that God has for you. That is what sustains you. That is a perfect way of going about not sinning. And that's the same thing with when you're married, right? You don't go and see other women in town, and then the first thought of not wanting to cheat is, I'm afraid of my wife.
Mhm.
No, it's more about, I love my wife, and this will hurt my wife. You see the difference? So that's how I would want us to look at it. It's not a case of, every woman is a taboo. No, they are not taboo. It's just that there's a greater reason for not wanting to do it. And that is why all those things that I said earlier start creeping in when secretaries start saying, oh, guy, you've not eaten. Because, and then you now start thinking, oh, this woman, oh. So there's something that they call,
Chief.
there's, there's something there's something that they call 95% versus 5%. Let me quickly break it before we go ahead. The 95% versus 5% works with people in relationship, where if your spouse is doing 95% but ignoring 5%, if you see someone outside, because we are creature of need. If you see someone outside doing the 5%, you forget about the 95% that the person that you're with is doing for you, and that is what leads to extramarital affair. If you leave it unchecked, right? So going back to what I said, Oga came to the office complaining of hunger today, hunger tomorrow, hunger on Friday, hunger the next Monday, and then the secretary said, what is going on? Don't you eat? Oh, why is your wife not packing food for you from home? And then, don't worry about it. Then the next day, because I know that you probably did not eat today, and then madam did not pack food for you, I decided to bring food for myself, and then do you want to share with me?
Added spoon.
If you don't remember any, lọ́gá àti secretary a máa jẹ nínú abọ́ kan náà. You do it today, you do it tomorrow. The guy also did not get sense, because to him, it's normal now, it's nothing serious.
The needs are
But
met.
on the superficial level, it may not be serious, but deep down, your spirit is already getting conditioned to a woman that is feeding you, a woman that is bringing you joy, because food gives joy, and that's how it happens. I've digressed from the conversation that we're having, but the point that I'm making is, sometimes we shouldn't look at it as a point of, this should be a taboo, right? No, it's not a taboo. We need to, there are some things that we need to agree. It doesn't mean that you're succumbing to the negativity, but it is obvious. It is not a taboo. Knowing that is the first step to now know that, okay, I know it's not a taboo. Now I need to put in more effort to safeguard myself. Because if you're seeing it as a taboo, right? Someday, like you won't even be thinking about it from the mindset of I need to put in more effort. And if the situation brings it and that taboo shows up in your office alone, and then you now see some cops, the thought of taboo will go away because truly it's not a taboo.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, but to wrap it, like last question for both of you. Why are female secretaries not discussed in the same line, same, conversations like this? No woman is complaining that, oh, I stopped hiring female secretary because of late night schedules. I stopped hiring male secretary because I'm running away from temptation. No woman has ever said that.
Yeah,
So
well,
why?
I think, yeah, the reason is not far-fetched. Only very few women get to attain like the position of power where most offices, and this is no offense intended, most offices have male CEOs, male MDs and all. You understand? Only very few offices have and female CEOs, MDs and all. So the sample size for us to be able to have that comparison may not really be there. You
Okay,
understand?
let's go back to I fired my driver because
Yeah, you're still saying the same thing. It's a workspace dominated by men. It's not dominated. Even look, women. One of the problems that feminism is having is even the fact that most of the jobs where women, most of the jobs when women come out to complain and say that men are abusing them there and all, they don't even have enough women represented in that job. For instance, somebody has come out recently. A group of women started complaining about the job of the gynecologists and that why too many men in that they don't feel comfortable and all that. Then you ask yourself the question that somebody asked the question that why are women not studying the course? Why are women not taking up the profession? You understand? Women are just intentionally not taking the profession and all. They just don't want to take the course. So we may not be able to have enough sample size to be able to know why women will not complain about female secretaries or women will not, make that complaint in general. It's a workspace that has men dominating the position of power. You understand? And if you say driver, it's a workspace that is dominated by men. Only very few women would you
but
find.
women are not complaining about men. It's only men always complain about women.
Mm.
Well,
Okay.
the women that complains about men, okay, Mr. Sade, go ahead.
Yeah. So no. Let me allow you finish your thought because I'm going to say something slightly different from the points that you raised. So let me allow you finish first.
Okay, I think I'm almost done. So I think the women, the women that the men are married to, right?
Mm.
They are women, right? And they complain when their secretaries are becoming too influential. So women complain also in a way at the end of the day.
It's
Yeah.
the husband that are
Yeah.
complaining for
Yeah.
them, not
Thank
the.
thank you very much for that. So
Yeah.
I'll say it in three ways. I'll start with the last thing that Mr. Ajashegun said. When you see women complaining, they sometimes complain to safeguard their interests, which is their men. That's
Mhm.
number one. Number two, female complain about the male folks as well. In the areas where female folks are rendering services to them, and they see that these male folks are crossing boundaries. It's just that the number of women that says that are not as much as the number of men that says it, because the men that would have said it, their wife are saying it on their behalf. Does that make sense? Going back to the first point that I made, right? The reason why this on staying on the second point, the reason I'm saying that is there's been so many cases on social media when a lady will say, "Can you imagine my plumber is toasting me?" That's a form of complaint. Can you the Uber driver is trying to collect my phone number? That's a form of complaint.
Okay.
It's still we are putting everything in the same bucket. Yeah.
Ti dàrú mi lójú. Ti
No.
dàrú.
The question you asked was why are female not complaining or saying that they sack someone that is not being professional? And I gave you example of an Uber driver that is asking the passenger for their phone number. It's not being professional.
Don't forget that secretaries are not asking no number. They are not toasting, like they are just doing their job, and their job to you is misinterpreted. That's two
And
different things.
that
It's not
even
that a driver, oh, she like for me, ninu moto, and I
that
come out on social media and say, oh, my driver opened the door for me. I hope he's not asking for too much. No, we don't do that.
that even makes it worse. Because again, like I said, which might be a digression, the woman don't see a man that is going out of
Fine.
their job description as being out of place, because they see that, oh,
No, my
soft,
point.
you understand, they're treated, but that's not the case. That's why they don't complain as much, because we men can spot it that well, your this bounce is not normal. That's not how a female walk. It didn't shake you the normal way, law. Of course, you know what I'm saying, right? But a woman, like your driver comes, drops you off, come to your side of the door, open the door. It's
I
not
don't
a bad,
think.
right? But now saying, some is going out of place, doing some other things, asking you, Madam, have you
Mommy,
eaten?
Jerry, my baby again, Wale.
Have you? No, that one is not even bad. Madam, have you eaten? No. Madam, you look good today. Madam, you smell nice. So again, bitoti man bend there. But women don't see that. Women see that, oh, she is complimenting me. That's the second point.
Because it's throwing a compliment.
The third point is this, which might strengthen the argument that you started with, but it's really not strengthening it if you think about it very well. If there's been a saying that if a man have sex with a woman, right, and the man is happy, like, oh, I succeeded, you're a fool. You didn't succeed. The lady allowed you.
Yes.
Because restraint for women is easier. So any sexual exchange was largely done
Done by the woman.
by, not the man. So that's why you don't see women complaining, because they can see that this man is doing it and all of that. They are not as affected by the men advances as much as the female advances affects the men, and that's the truth. It is if we take sample size of 100 men and women, that is going to be consistent with what they are saying. So again, let's not. It's okay to say men should be should have restraints, but the way I would see it is, let's reduce or remove what we call for men to have restraint, and 50% of all of this will be solved.
Anyways, I think okay, let me just ask the last one and we'll move. And it's still about men, because you guys need more self-control than you think.
Now, wow.
Because anything can be shubu. If the person is looking too good, it's a problem. So now my last like to get a balance and broader impact is like so why would you put the blame of misconduct at workplace on women?
Oh my God. Sorry. Don't mind me. I got distracted.
Why will you solely put when two people do the unthinkable and when it's not planned? Why will you put it on women when a man also can be responsible for it too? The same way that women allowed it, you can always say that I did it too. Why will you put it on women allowed it? Why not I did it? Like you own it, be responsible for it. In this Baba's case, I feel like if every man is taking, like Baba said about an example, and we want to follow that. I've seen Baba said we should be careful, and Christians brothers now are saying, we need to be careful around our sisters in the Lord. We need to make sure. Why is Baba not teaching them discipline and not make women the problem? not instigating that women is like they can easily make you fall. Why don't you teach your man or your men that don't fall? Even when they come, don't fall. Hold on to the word of God. Hold on to the power of the Holy Spirit. Hold on to what the word of God can say and rebuke their spirits. Pastors in the house. Until law, I just go to Salo.
Can I respond? Oh, I just
Yeah, respond. You are the only one
his
here.
screen is frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Two things. Number one, nowhere in what Baba said suggests the women to be evil. So let's first of all correct that. Number two, we are calling for men to be disciplined, but the ultimate form of discipline rather, is what Baba has done, removing what would have led to a
So you
situation.
can't be there and be disciplined. So you can't stand heat of a woman.
To that, I'll give you a perfect response. When
Don't bring Delilah story.
Don't.
I thought you wanted to bring Delilah story.
Delilah. When the Bible in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 22 says, flee all appearances of evil. What do you think the Bible is saying?
But did they mention a woman there?
Hold on. The Bible did not say flee all appearances of women. So you are right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Is women, and this was what I started with, is woman the evil? No. But the sexual fallout is the evil. What is the appearance of that evil in that context? Being with another woman.
The appearances of evil is discipline yourself. Indiscipline is the appearance of evil there. Not self-control is appearances of evil there.
I can't change the Bible.
I interpret them.
If I'm going to a place where they will be smoking weed, I can make two decisions. Go there and say that no matter what they say, I will not smoke weed with them. Or I can say that, you know what, I'm not going. Which one of them do you think is more effective?
Both are effective based on your mindset when you're going. You can go and say, my values are standing.
What I say, which one of them is more effective? I'm not saying which one of them is effective. I said which one of them is more effective. Let me break it down.
I'm not picking one. I know the one you want me to pick.
Let me break it down mathematically. If I decide I'm not going, I've removed myself 100%. Right? But if I decide I will go, but I will not take anything, my chances are reduced to 50%. Because it's not
okay. A mathematical probability.
Exactly. So it becomes one of two choices, to fall for it or not fall for it. So which one is more effective? The one that removes me 100%, and that is the
But you know that when you now later solve the probability, if you did not do it, it becomes 100 again.
No. That's not how you treat a probability. Because if I tell you that I will give you 1 million naira, but you have a chance of making 2 million naira or not making anything if you flip a coin, which one will you pick?
I put the one I started.
Exactly. So why not going there? Not the one to choose. That is the one that is certain.
Point mi gan ni tẹ bá ti lè lé wa lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ pé bó ṣe ń lọ yẹ o ọkùnrin máa rí ẹ ọ bó ṣe ń lọ yẹ o lè ríṣẹ́ tó kó jẹ́ secretary because you work with a manager, because you work with a male boss, you are not going to work today. If men are seeing this Baba's job and that is their reaction and it's causing chaos in marriages, I won't say more than that.
If a man that you know decide to get a female secretary, and then based on one or two, wàhálà ṣẹlẹ̀ family ẹnìyẹn náà bọ̀ fa nínú ń bọ̀ lọ́rùn ṣe agree pẹ̀lú yẹn náà. So again, let's talk to them. Like I said earlier, even aside of your expectation,
Baba
Adeboye is loyal to his life and ministry. We don't care.
But it can stand from èyàn Ọlọ́run. Tọ́lọ́run gbénu wọn. Tẹ́mi mímọ́.
You know how many will be affected. The problem will be more if the opposite of what Baba said happened. Imagine.
Baba, yeah, but he have not said it now. A lot of people will just, people follow him blindly.
But exactly. So now imagine if you hear tomorrow that Baba and Baba was caught pants down with a secretary. You know what is going to happen to the flock.
Remember that you're not that one.
So let's remember that Baba is saying you're not for the decision that he took. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
The negative impact for your time is worse than whatever negative impact you can think of for what Baba decided to do. And that is good enough for me. It should be good enough for everybody.
Ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin, ẹ lè sáré sí tobìnrin. So kò sẹ́ni tí ó lè dán yín wò.
Kò sẹ́ni tí ó lè.
I said something pé.
Kò sẹ́ni tí ó lè dán anybody wò. It's not about kò sẹ́ni tí ó lè dọ́kùnrin wò. Kò sẹ́ni tí ó lè dóbìnrin wò náà wò.
No, tó bá dóbìnrin wò, obìnrin ò ní fall. Àbó ti fall ni.
Àwọn tó ti fall.
Àwọn yẹn nìyẹn. Gbọ́, tóbìnrin bá target ló bá fọ ọkùnrin ṣe project pé mo ní project yìí. Ọkùnrin náà dẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ mú. Ó máa mú. Kò sí, no two way. But tó ọkùnrin bá kó obìnrin ṣe project, most time ó lè má mú.
Ó máa mú tọkùnrin yẹn ò bá tètè sá lọ pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí bàbá ṣe ń sìn.
Ìgbò sí pé fẹ́ sára wọ padà. Bí ó ṣiṣẹ́ secretary, a ṣiṣẹ́ ní cleaner of the office. Bí ó ṣiṣẹ́ àtọ́.
Ọlọ́run á ṣe àdùyí. Obìnrin, it is well.
Take care. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next week again.
All right. Thank you very much.